You're looking at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. Welcome to my daily review. Today it's kind of a bummer for the longs. The Nasdaq opened like a lion and closed like a lamb. Up 15, 16 points, we'll give it. But you can see here, I'll get the price over here and kind of zoom in on it. It closed again 0.1% below the 50, even though it was up today. It closed yesterday 0.1% above the 50. So we made no ground today. You can see that it traded up to its converging 10 and 21 EMA and then got rejected and came right back down to the 50. So it's kind of pinching in here between these two moving averages. And that's going to act as like an inflection point. It's going to have to go one way or the other, below it and, then ram higher, or maybe just go right through it, or maybe just sell off further and we'll have a deeper and longer correction. That's the thing about corrections. Nobody knows how long they're going to last and nobody knows how low they're going to go. I will point out one thing is that the trajectory of this is very similar to the trajectory of the February 2nd to March 13th 5-week essentially pullback that we had earlier in the year. More recently, we had this short little pullback to the 21, but now that we're at the 50, something's got to give here. It's either got to trade below it for a little while or find support and trade higher. So more will be revealed. You just got to stay tuned, be prepared, have your watch list, and don't fall asleep. Stay positive. We're in a nice long uptrend. We're just having a little, seasonality, turbulence here in August, and that was kind of, predicted here as this uptrend line. It bounced off it a couple times here, and now it's pulled back. But definitely not in danger of, this is lower channel line here. So I would say this is probably a good area for this thing to find support and bounce higher. If we're to maintain an uptrend, you never know, you just take it one day at a time. But anyway, that's the gist of the Nasdaq. Up 16 points, 0.12%, and just barely a tick below its 50 simple moving average. So this is the August pullback that we expected here, the seasonality, and we're getting it. And I got to say, they're targeting the artificial intelligence stocks here on this pullback. This is a nice sharp pullback. This is Microsoft, and if like old John Dillinger said, why do you rob banks? Well, that's where the money is. Why are they selling artificial intelligence stocks? Because they've run up a ton. I mean, a ton. This thing went from 218 to 366. So there's profits to be had there, so institutions can take profits and redistribute them elsewhere. So that's what I think we're seeing here, is just a little bit of profit taking. And sometimes, if you run a fund, you have restrictions that you can only have so much of a certain type of stock, a technology stock, a defense stock, a consumer stock. And so these have run up so much, they might have gotten too big for some funds with then they need to get in compliance and sell some of these things. This is NVDA. This one's obviously been weakened. This is Tesla, sold off since its earnings report. Same thing, AI. It's got AI in the ticker symbol, so it must be an AI stock, and this one is sold off as well. Palantir is another one, a big AI stock, and this one is sold off. So they're just taking profits in these artificial intelligence stocks, and they're kind of redistributing the wealth there. Just kind of routine. I want to take a look, first of all, at our watch list, because our watch list, I look around at some of the stocks that I've, own, and they're not doing that great, but some of the watch list stocks are hanging in there pretty well. This is XPRO. It's got this cup with handle, and it looks good, and it's doing well. TCOM, I'm going to get to the booking stocks later. They're really strong. This one looked like it was going to break out today. It was really ramping with good volume and then closed at the low end of the session. You can see that inverted hammer candle. That's not ideal. But that's another one on our watch list. It's doing well. LULU, same thing. It had this nice, looked like it was going to break out and then close, 10% of the daily range, which is not ideal. It's still up a couple bucks on the session. but not really what you want. ON. This one's going to have earnings next week. I'm going to take it off our watch list because I don't want to have anything to do with earnings, but the earnings are next Tuesday, I believe. So, yeah, next week this will be off the watch list, but you should leave it on yours and see the reaction to ON. ELF is another one that is acting well. ELF is making another shelf. What else is new, right? Up a couple bucks today. That one looks good. URI, another one on the watch list that I like. Nice cup with handle pattern. This looks like it wants to ramp higher, but the market's just not really it's not ideal for breakouts right now. This one was up, almost 1% today. It looks pretty good. NOV is another oil and gas equipment stock that is forming the right side of the base. Looks pretty good above its moving averages here, and is up, near 0.75% today. Not doing too bad. So anyway, okay, I went through the artificial intelligence stocks. I went through our watch list. I want to go through some of the retail stocks, and I mentioned that breakouts aren't working too well, but this one is, and we know Celsius, how it likes to trade. Now, the last time it gapped higher, it had an inside day, and today it made another high. So I went up to 178, which was above yesterday's high of 175.85. So it's something different, something to watch. I'm hoping this thing could start trending higher and not just pull this sideways garbage. So I'm keeping a close eye on Celsius. Obviously made a big move, and there's probably going to be some profit takers, but you can see the last, 4 sessions it's been up, and the last 3 has had some good volume there. So that one looks good. So ELF and Celsius look good. The dentist, a nice 10% move today with 150% above average daily volume this is Dillard's department store, retail store. And there's only 6 stocks in this group, and the group has just been hammered. So this is a welcome move for these retailers, obviously coming on the back of Coach or Tapestry buying Michael Kors or Capri, and this one was up by 55%. Oftentimes when you see M&A in a group, you'll see some pin action, of speculation of maybe other buyouts in this area. But congrats to the Longs and Michael Kors. That's a nice 55% move for that retail stock. Okay, let's move on to software. Last week I gave you a name of Freshworks where it broke out on earnings. I said this is a move not to be ignored. It undercut the low of that day, which is not ideal, but now the last couple sessions is starting to gain momentum. This one closed near the high of its daily range, and definitely a one to watch, because pretty weak tape, and this one's showing some strength. This is Freshworks computer software, and they have earnings behind them. So keep an eye on. If you want a fresh idea, check out Freshworks. And of course, App, had an earnings report that was well received today, up 26%. It closed in the upper half of its daily range, and what can you say? That's a nice breakout. You got to look at the weekly here on this one because it had a huge sell-off like all of the other software names, and now is showing strength here. Wow, that's a great year for App. Congrats to the Longs. One of the top performing stocks in 2023. And then Hubs. Hubs is one that sold off after earnings and now is kind of like, kind of tired of going down here. And now it's starting to show some strength and go back up. It's up nearly 4% today and above that 500 level. So that's a good sign for the Hubs Longs. I'm going to get into drugs. Stocks that this is Lilly had an insight. Well, first of all, gapped up on earnings and a big, huge gap of 15%, which is a huge move for a stock like this. And then had an inside day yesterday and another inside day today. So that's tight trading. I prefer NVO to Lilly, but this one also gapped higher the other day and 17% move. Yeah. And then had an inside day yesterday and down nearly 3% on its earnings report today. I mean, they just beat and raise and, go down. I don't know. I don't know what to say about NVO. I mean, it's just one of those stocks that I just believe in, have confidence in, and just hold long term. I'm not interested in really trading this stock, especially with this big gap to fill here. That's a big gap back down to the 162 area. So we'll see what happens with NVO, but definitely their drugs are in heavy demand, and they just can't manufacture enough drugs to keep up with them. But they're continue to raise guidance, and you can see the earnings and sales are accelerating with that company. All right, I'm going to look at, CPRX also delivered earnings today, and this is the drop on the Teva pharmaceutical litigation or whatever. They're challenging their patent, but they're delivering good, strong earnings here. You can see this 98%, 87% sales growth. So they have two drugs that are selling really well. So Catalyst is holding its own. If they get a favorable decision in litigation, I think this thing is going to go back up to their old highs. But we'll see. I don't want to get involved with litigation. KNF, this is my IPO stock for the day, and for obvious reasons. This is a building cement concrete company. You can see that it's undercut its IPO low and then formed this IPO base here. And it's only been trading since May, in the middle of May, I think, May 25th. But it's formed this IPO base this summer here, and looks really good to me. Obviously, construction has been doing well. I'm going to take a look at a couple others in this group. This is Primoris Services, and not much to say here. I mean, lower left to upper right, huh? That's a nice trend for those who like such things. I know the volume isn't, like we like, and they're not going to move as fast as some of those tech stocks, but these are grinding higher. This is Quanta Services, ticker symbol PWR, another one that just keeps grinding higher. I mean, lower left to upper right. I mean, 112 to 206. You got to like that, and just kind of quietly goes about its business and just grinds to higher highs. And that's kind of what this stock has been doing. And a lot of these stocks in this heavy construction group are doing the same thing. This is a Sterling Infrastructure and Pop Tire on earnings, and just continues to tack on the gains. Look at that candle there. Yeah, nice, up 31% this week. So congrats to the longs there. And that group is performing well. Another group that's performing well, I mentioned TCOM with its inverted hammer candle, but this group is acting well. We got Booking Holdings that made a nice move on earnings and continues to impress and show strength in this pretty weak tape here. And also Make My Trip, I believe this is an India-based travel booking stock, and this one broke out of a base, as you can see here, and you can see these big blue volume bars, and this is one of the top industry groups here. Nice consolidation, breaking out here, so and showing strength in this during this pullback. So the money is flowing somewhere. Like I said, from the AI stocks, it is going elsewhere. And I'm not going to do the oil and gas stocks today because I think people are tired of oil and gas stocks. Cisco Systems always has a place in my heart. Cisco made a lot of people wealthy a long time ago. But you can see this one has just been consolidating for a long time. Finally starting to show some strength here and moving out of this, 52, 50, 52, 56, 52, 41 area. Now it's above it's a pivot area. So Cisco looks good. Another one in the group that's on our watch list is Arista Networks. Doing nothing wrong here, tightening up. You can see how wild this trade is. I mean, if this is a wild stock, down she goes, up and then down and then up, and then sharp pull, tug below the 50 and a rip above it. Now it's just kind of trading kind of quietly back to the 10 EMA today. So I kind of like that. Let this thing calm down and in lighter volume. That's what you want to see, a little pull back to a moving average and a lighter volume. People have written a ton of books and making a ton of money off that one little concept. So that's what we like to see in ANET. Another one in the group that's on our top leading stocks, along with Arista Networks, is Extreme Networks. And you can see this one broke out of this base, pulled back to the 21, ripped higher again, pulled back to the 21, ripped higher again. So, if you want something like that, you probably have to wait till it pulls back to the 21. You can see that consolidation pattern there, now moving higher. So Extreme Networks showing strength, flexing its muscles in a weak tape. And I'm going to stop right there today. It was kind of a disappointing day today for the bulls. Not a lot going on. And today I went a whole session, mentioned retail and artificial intelligence, and did not mention Crocs or SMCI. So that's a good thing for me. And in honor of Steve Jobs, one more thing, and that is IONQ, which is in the top performing group, which includes SMCI. So I lied. After hours, they reported earnings, which, the earnings are past. They'll look in the rearview mirror, but the look forward there was a raised outlook, and it's up more than 6% after hours. And I want to see this thing rip above its 21 and its 10 tomorrow or next week here. So keep an eye on IONQ. If you want to see its yearly performance, it's up 124% on the year in the past year. And as of December 30th for the year, it's up, cool, 311%, which beats SMCI, which is up only 237%. And it had that sharp pullback this week, but looks to continue, its uptrend. Anyway, that's it for today. Keep an eye on IONQ tomorrow, and we never give up.